Hello and welcome to my channel on human design. Today I want to look at timing, and I want to look at timing specifically in relationship to decision making. Now, generally when we speak about decision making, we always speak about making decisions about something that's in the body, if you've got inner authority. And we can talk generally about the spleen making instantaneous, spontaneous decisions, the improvisation that comes from those spontaneous decisions. The other side is the solar plex, and we say, you need to feel into it to really come to your clarity within you, to know whether you want to say something or do something. So that's generally speaking, and that's what's understood. And all of you who have been in your experiment can go, yeah, that works for me. That's what happens. But I want to drill deeper today. I want to go deeper into the specific nature of authority. And for that, I'm going to use myself as an example to begin with. So when we think about decisions, we can think about big decisions and we can think about small decisions, everyday decisions. So in my own case, when it comes to really big decisions, what has taken place? What is my authority that's come up through me and galvanized me into action? Well, look at the chart. I have an intuitive stream through the channel of struggle going right the way through the 57 to the 20. So my intuition has a large part to play in my decision making. The body felt awareness that lights me up, brings me tingles, brings me sensations, brings me a knowing in that moment about something. But it's also tied to the sacral through the 34-57, the channel of power. And there is also adrenal energy running through the channel of mutation into the sacral. So my awareness, my splenic awareness, is tied to my generator capacity to do something. And at the same time, the channel of mutation brings in an adrenal pulse that galvanizes me and sends me on a journey of discovery through the 29-46 and through the channel of the alpha in terms of what gets involved. All these sides of me get involved in a big decision. It's like a body felt sensation, and I've suddenly made that decision. I may not know I was going to make that decision beforehand, but then it's made. So to make that specific, when I left London, having been in London for 7 years, and I was trying to cross the road in Belsize Park where I lived, and it took me something like 5 minutes to cross the road. It was so busy and it was so noisy. And my anger and frustration of like, oh, I just want to get across the road. It was like, okay, I've had enough of this. It was an absolute decision of, I've got to get out of here. But I didn't know where to go. I had no idea. But the decision to leave was made in that moment. And it was the full body experience of, I've got to get out of here. And it took me another 6 months or so to actually finish the jobs that I was doing and free myself up to be able to go. And my partner at the time, a pure generator, was also up for the change. So we get in a car and we don't know where we're going to go. We've made the decision to leave, but we don't know where it is leading us to. And we traveled here and there across the United Kingdom trying to find a place to live. And we didn't know. And we went to one place and another, and it was like, well, I don't know, no big response. And we made a call to someone on our network. We didn't know this person, but they were in a different part of the country in Wiltshire. And I gave this guy a ring and I said, hello, we're looking for where to be. I mean, it's very silly looking back on it. How could you say that? But that was the situation. We're looking for where to be, and we don't know, and you're in Wiltshire, and we'd like to come and see you and talk about what it's like living in Wiltshire. And this guy we'd never known said, well, have you eaten? And we said, no. He said, why don't you come along? Come around. When do you think you'll be here? I'll have a meal ready for you. And we walked into his house. He had a roaring log fire. It was very cozy. He had an amazing meal that he prepared for us. And in bumping into him on the journey of discovery, not knowing where we're going to go, it suddenly became clear that we wanted to be near him. And we rented a property near him. And that began a whole transformative process of coming into the world, if I put it that way. It changed everything. Getting out of London and being in a place where there was a kindred spirit nearby made all the difference. So that's an example of a body felsation to get out of London and opening up into we don't know what, and then finding our way from there. Similar thing if I take myself back to the time when Ra asked me would I like to buy the license for human design films, and it was like a shock and then an immediate sensation and power rising, going yes, yes. Again, the mutative pulse going through there, adrenalizing the sacral into action, into being ready for action, not knowing where it's going, but still being on alignment through the alpha to help people in their lives. The intuitive sensations running through me of wow, this is exactly what I want to do. I don't want to be anywhere else but around Ra and learning from him. And here I had a license to be able to attend the courses and to film them and to get this work out. So again, it was a full body sensation involving everything that was in me in making that decision without knowing exactly how I was going to do it. Now, I'm a single definition, so I'm including everything in my brief description of how I made those decisions. But what happens if you're a solar plex? I don't have the feeling chemistry running through me all the time in the way that a solar plex does. And when you think about the streams that run through the solar plex, so let's say someone has the 1949 and the 40, they have this full tribal stream going into the will. Well, we know that that's an energy that ratchets up or ratchets down bit by bit and builds and then bursts. Okay, so that takes time. It takes processing, and we know this. So let's say they have the 40-30 as well. So there's another adrenalized pressure, but this time in a cyclic wave, the rising and the falling of this wave of desire. Now that's going to have to be included in the decision making. Is it exciting? Is it something I really want to get involved with and share with other people? So it's not just the tribal wave, it's then that wave. If they have the 55 on as well, so they have some individual chemistry, emotional chemistry as well. Is the spirit right? Can I be recognized for my individual moodiness, in making the decision? This complicates things. This takes things longer to process. It's not something that you can easily get a handle on because of the mixtures of chemistries. So again, that's going to take longer. And then if you add to that the fact that someone is, say, a triple split or a quadruple split, they're not in touch with all the sides of themselves, except over time when they get lit up in one way or another through joining of the bridges of the split. That will take longer. If you're a triple split, you're one of the 11.5 people who have 3 parts to themselves. It's going to take you longer to get what's going on. It's going to take you longer to make a decision. So you have to bear that in mind. It's about seeing that your own timing is built into the way that you're designed and to accept that. With all these pressures we've got on us to make quick decisions and do this and do that, well, we have to move in our own timing. In my own case, when I'm thinking about the next project that I get involved with, I'm a busy person. I have the 3420, so there's always things going on. There's always possibilities of what I might get involved with. But I have to wait for my response to really light me up like a Christmas tree about something, and then I make the decision. Then how it takes place, it doesn't really matter. I don't need to know exactly how it's going to expand me. I need to respond to something that I can finish. And once I get involved with something, I finish it. That's just the way I'm made. But making the decision and making the priorities, which one do I do first, is a waiting process. It's something that I have to surrender to. Despite being a single definition, I am waiting for my energy to click in, and then a decision is made. So let's look at this timing involved with everyday events, small decisions. Like in the morning when I get up, maybe a thought goes through my open head and ajna about what are you going to eat later on today? And very often it's, I don't know. I don't know. It's not a priority for me. I'm quite happy with sardines on toast, and I'm also very happy to have a more complex meal, but it's not a priority for me. So I usually make a decision in the moment. I'm feeling hunger. What am I going to eat? I go to the kitchen and look at the options, and then there's a response. Yes, I'll have that now. And it's quite straightforward. It's nothing that I have to build my energy up to. It's something that just happens. I have an active body. So despite the fact that I spend a lot of time on the computer, I let my body take me for walks. I have an unconscious 34, 57, 20. So sometimes I find myself walking around. Sometimes I find myself going outside, climbing up ladders, fiddling with things. There is a certain amount of energy that I need to have in my life going out into just normal things like fixing something that I can get my teeth into with that channel of struggle and really enjoy it. I may not know when I'm going to do it, but there are all these projects. And if I'm in the right mood, and if the energy is there in that moment, then I find myself in it. So it's little decisions like that. If it's not important, if there's no priority, it's not a big deal. It just happens. Right now, I want to do this, I'm in it. When we're thinking about different types, when we're thinking about, for example, projectors, and again, they could be emotional, they could be splenic, they may have no definition in either of those motors. So it's more complex for a projector. But the decision is really made inside them. So if they're a splenic projector and they suddenly get clarity about something they want to be involved with, they have to wait for the invitation. But their readiness to go into that is made inside of them. And that is also transmitted out through the aura that then opens doors for them. So again, that involves other people to some degree, but it's still something they have to wait for. They can be ready inside. So projectors, if you're going, well, I don't know what I'm going to do or who I'm going to see or what's going to open up for me, you don't have to know. You just, if it's for you, the decision is made to go into that thing, whatever it may be. You then wait for the invitation to come. If it's really in you, it will radiate out there. It will open doors for you. This is what happens. The readiness happens inside. This is why we say projectors, when you're not being invited into something, then get ready, follow whatever it is that your awareness or your system has asked you to go into. Get ready with that. The invitation will follow. We all have our own different timings, and we can have, as I've tried to show, timings for big decisions, timings for small decisions. There is a way of getting to just live the life in a way that works without having to have so much pressure on top of you to make decisions. You just have to know that it's going to involve everything that is in you. Okay, well, I hope you found that helpful, and that will add to your experiment, I hope. And if you've enjoyed that, please like, share, and subscribe. And I shall be back again very soon with something completely different. Bye for now.